Hello and welcome to Reinfused. Today we are taking another look at this RX-78. Now this is technically the third look we've had at this, including the unboxing, but this time we're going to be taking a little look inside. Now I have already been inside once because I've been attempting to decipher, camera is a very weird angle, so yeah, to decipher these joystick ports, which I'd been hoping were Atari style joystick ports, but in fact are little DIN plugs. Now I'm going to guess that they do map similarly to the Atari joystick. I just have to work out the configuration. I've started doing that mostly by just working out what goes where on the actual motherboard itself. Now, we can take another little look at this thing. This keyboard, you know what, is not that bad. Although these are little chiclet keys, they're actually, there's a fair amount of travel. They don't move left and right too much as you click them, and they're quite soft to touch rather than the hard ones like on the 48K Plus and stuff. So yes, let's open her up. There are 5 screws, 4 on the corners and 1 in the centre. So alright, so that's 5 screws. So then as we take this off, we see that it's held on. Well, it should be held on by this keyboard cable here. Unfortunately, the pins have come away from the plastic backing. Now this happens because these are just glued on. These little flinges here are just glued on to this backing, and over time, as it gets older, the glue becomes more brittle and they start to come off. Yeah, so that's the issue. This happened when I opened it up and removed the keyboard. Well, technically when I tried to put the keyboard back in. Now it's fine. It's eminently repairable. I've got several options. I can just re-glue this on and try to get these as straight as possible. That's entirely a possible thing to do. Or I can replace this whole cable. I can even replace the whole assembly. So I'm not particularly worried about that. That's fine. I mean, this machine is in wonderful condition. There's this little rust here, but it does look like it's literally just time that's done that. The rest of the board is in really good nick. So the other thing that's holding it on is this here, which I don't entirely know what that controls. It looks a bit too much just for a light, but it could just be the light. I don't think there's just connector numbers there. It doesn't actually say what it's referencing, but we can just do it by the plastic plug, John. Don't do it by the wires. That's just ridiculous. There we come. There we go. So that just lifts away. Look on the other side there. We can see the jumpers for the keyboard and stuff. It's quite neat and tidy. And there's this, yeah. So there's a voltage regulator going up there. And I mean, the only thing that's in there is the LED's down there. So I don't know what that is. Oh, you know what? It's just a heatsink. I think I can probably get that at an angle you can see it. That is just a heatsink, so that is just for this voltage regulation circuit. That's very interesting. Anyway, let's put that to one side. So here's the motherboard itself. Got a fuse here, obviously not tripped because we managed to power this up. And this is the keyboard connector, and it's this flat style, but it's not the ultra weak flat style that like the Sinclair Spectrum uses. It is quite beefy. It wasn't for the glue giving up, it would have been fine. But yeah, so this is the inside. So here we have our connector for the 2 cartridges. So there's 2 cartridge ports, and there's this flat ribbon. Now this is a slightly delicate flat cable. It hasn't broken yet, which is good. The glue appears to be holding, and it is soldered as well, so that's handy. So, well, I guess take a closer look at what we've got here. Now, well, here's the main CPU. So if I turn that this way, which means it's going to be upside down, but it at least means, let's try and zoom in. Obviously, cutting this so that it actually works. The magic of video. Alright, so I think we're zoomed in there. Much as it's going to go. Yep, so we should be able to see some of the text on anyway. So that's you see the sharp. This is actually an H0080A, which is in fact a Z80A clone from Zilog. Well, from Sharp, but Z80 from Zilog. The Z80 is a phenomenal CPU. It's used in so many different machines. In the UK, most famously, of course, the ZX range of Sinclair computers, including the Specky. But it's been used in so many other things, like the Commodore 128 used it as a secondary processor. The Game Boy used it. The Genesis Mega Drive had a Z80 that did a lot of its stuff, including some of the sound work. Just loads and loads of computers. A very versatile CPU, very well cheap for its time CPU as well, which is part of the reason, of course, why it's used so heavily. But no, it's a good piece of work. It really is. So this runs at 4 megahertz, which is quite quick, really, for a machine of this time. So what else have we got here? We got X0399PA. That seems like a custom part number. So don't know what that is. It says that's just I believe that's a Timex chip. It's just a logic chip, isn't it? Yeah, there's a few of those. These unmistakably are some kind of RAM. This machine had 30k in total, which was split between 15k of main memory and 15k of VRAM, which again, for a machine of its time, was quite hefty. And here, yeah, definitely some more custom chips by the part numbers. They're definitely custom part numbers. So, yeah, this machine is it's an interesting little beast. It's got quite a few custom chips in there. I mean, some of these might just be rebadged other chips, but even that said, there's been a lot of investment has gone into this. So it's a neat little design. Again, I really don't know the capabilities of this because there is some video online of the games playing, but I've not been able to play a game yet. The parcel which has the other one of these that I've got is sitting currently in Parcel Forces depot. So I will hopefully be getting that on Tuesday. So there'll be another unboxing. And that's going to be a fairly hefty one. I'll probably have to break that down because there's 4 boxes. I have yet to find out how much I'm going to be stung by customs on that. It's probably not going to be pleasant because there are some heavy, heavy devices in there. Anyway. Yeah. It's an interesting machine. Again, it's not something I normally collect because it is a PC. But I was just interested because of all the research I did for Bandai. It was an interesting machine to have a look at. I think if this had been released worldwide, it probably would have done all right. Its specs are very similar to the MSX, but it's, I think, a much nicer form factor. I don't think there's any way of like connecting a tape drive or something to it. I haven't seen anything about a tape drive. I mean, maybe you could get a cartridge that did that, but I think it's literally just cartridges, which does, I guess, make this closer to a console than most of the other machines. But yeah, I mean, that's it. There's not much else on the other side of the board, not much point showing you that. But it's a very compact, very nicely put together machine with a lot of custom parts and quite a hefty amount of memory for its age. Right, well, if you like the video, please hit like. If you really like the video, please hit subscribe. If you didn't like the video or you've got some other comments to make, then please leave them below. See you next time.